you were a DOE educator. You were,
Yeah.
and then let go because you didn't take the vaccine. Let's start off where it was. Why did you choose to become an educator? What was it?
Well, I wanted to become an accountant and didn't feel it. Then I wanted to drop out of college, and my mom was like, try something else, just try anything. So I took one education class and I loved it. And that's where my passion grew. As a student growing up in New York City schools, I was not interested in education. I hated it, as I was explaining to you earlier. And so when I found that I had a passion for education, I determined that I was not going to teach the way I was taught. And so I would go in and try to innovate and elevate the way the students were taking in information and the way I was putting out the information for them to receive it. So instead of just having talks and talking to the kids and putting them in group work, I would try to incorporate arts. I would always try to, because I'm creative, so I would always try to make it fun. What's going to make this fun? What's going to make it stick? What project can I attach to it? So that's how my passion for education started, and that's how I chose to try to make a difference in children's lives.
Now, so you said you wanted to be an accountant. What made you want to be an accountant? I've actually never met somebody who wants to be, an accountant from the jump. So I'm serious.
Well, see, that doesn't pan out well.
Right. Right.
But so I liked numbers. I was okay in math growing up, and so I was like, I could do this. But then I found out I wasn't that good in math when I got to college. And I was like, maybe this is not it. And it wasn't fun. It was like just boring, just looking at numbers. And I'm more than just looking at numbers. And so
got you.
That's the diversion.
You let that go.
But in sidebar, in between there, I was like, I'm going to become an assassin.
You was doing it all. An accountant assassin.
And my daddy stopped me.
All right. I've acquired a set of skills.
I have a particular set of skills.
I will find you.
Where'd you go to school?
So Bronx Elementary School, CS 47. Bronx Middle School, IS 116. High school of Fashion Industries.
Okay.
And college, started off at Medgar Evers College. Okay. By the time I was a horrible student, so by the time I decided I wanted to switch into education, they're like, your grades suck. So you cannot. And so I switched schools, and they took my grades that were good, and then I built on there and graduated with a good GPA.
So you graduated, your education degree was from Medgar Evers?
No. So my associates in special education is at Medgar Evers. I couldn't get into the education program because of my GPA. So I switched to Mercy College. They didn't have the education program. So I switched into, I don't even remember what it was. That was 20 years ago. But then from there, I applied to become a fellow, a teaching fellow.
Oh, the teaching fellows.
So I am a New York City teaching fellow, cohort 3. And that's how I came into education. My master's degree is from Adelphi University.
Okay.
And what does that mean, teaching fellow?
So the teaching fellows is a program that they have in New York City where they kind of fast track your master's degree, but it's like it's also, they support you, they also pay for it, right? You know, they
and
pay
the reason why they brought the teaching fellows, and they at that particular time they said if we can get a range of perspectives other than just that of education, they thought it would be more beneficial. So you have people leaving the business field, you have people leaving hospitals, all coming into this program with the hope that their insight from whatever fields they were could help to rejuvenate and inspire the students. And so it was not just the fast track, but it was also the opportunity to bring in different expertises, which is why also they came up with the principal program to say you don't have to be an educator, come from anywhere, and we can put you in here and see how your expertise can help to inspire the department.
Which, I mean, on paper it works, right? Because if as a principal, it's more administrative work. So if you've run a Fortune 500 company, then you can run a school. You know, you can run the finances. If you're an accountant, you can make sure that money that's coming into the school is allotted and accounted for and all that sort of jazz.
How did it work out in reality?
Yeah, exactly. So
no, it was a question. How did it work out? You said on paper.
Well, I mean, the thing is that from my experience, I mean, you've got way more experience than me, but from my experience is like some of those people don't understand the ecosystem that a school needs to be, because a business ecosystem or a corporate ecosystem is not it's not the same as a learning ecosystem. You know, a corporate ecosystem, everybody, you're supposed to know everything you need to know in order to do your job. And so there's no kind of teaching element or leeway or being like, okay, I know you don't understand this, I'm going to take the time out to educate you. And so in schools, it has to be that in absolution, right? It has to be fertile ground rather than all we focus on is harvesting, you know? And so that didn't transfer well, because you got people 20 years working in corporate or working in these different environments and then coming here and being like, wait, my practices that I've been doing for the past 10, 20 years is not working in this environment. Oh, it's y'all, it's not me. I'm the professional, you know? So do you want to like comment on that?
I will. In doing so, they removed what is the definition of a principal. The definition of a principal is a master teacher. So you cannot pull someone from everywhere and say you can do this job, because you do not have the understanding of what's necessary for the building blocks of success within that system. So if you are what my old principal was able to do, if I went to her and said I have this problem, she was able to solve my problem in my lesson plan. This is what you should be doing. This is what you need to look at. Whereas if I went to a current principal, they can't do that because their mindset is not there. A principal, by definition, is a master teacher. And so it's not just paperwork. You understand what each level within your school needs, and you can provide it. If you had to step in, you can step in. And that's what a principal is. It's not just administrative, but they've turned it into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like a principal is purely like a manager. Like, they don't. I've never seen a principal substitute teach. Like, that just doesn't happen. So, I never knew that it was because a principal's supposed to be a master teacher. That's very like jarring that it's not that anymore.
I mean now, now they've kind of phased that out. You know, where it's like, you know, now they went back to being, you need to be a teacher in order to be a principal. You got to do your time. There are still some principals out there that are grandfathered in, you know, that have just been doing it for the past 10 years. That, you know, they got in before the shutter came down. But now, if you're going to become a principal now, you got to be a teacher, because they're just, you know, they realized that, you know, you've got to know the inner workings. You got to know what your teacher's experience is. Because you're there to not so much catch them doing something wrong, but if you see something wrong, like she was saying, you know how to redirect them because you've been doing it for X amount of years.
We're talking about principal teacher.
Principals. Right. So there's supposed to be an administrative support system, you know, and so, you know, you get that in some places, other places you don't. But